Okay, we're back to our fixing midot. It says over here, at times a person thinks he has already finished perfecting a certain midah, but he is mistaken. He thinks this way only because he has never been tested seriously in that midah. For instance, let's say a person thinks that he is perfect in the midah of jealousy. Yeah? In truth, however, the reason he does not envy others is that he thinks he is superior to all those around him. So clearly, he has not yet perfected himself in the midah of arrogance. Meaning, he says, some people, they say, oh, I don't have this certain test. He says, do you know why you don't have a certain test? This particular test? Is because you think that this test doesn't even belong to you. You hear? It says, a person like this will typically choose to live in a place where he is more prestigious than anyone else, or to work in a field in which he will easily be better than those around him, even though his spiritual state would be better served if he were to live in a different place or work in a different field. A lot of times, let's say a person is at a certain religious level, right? Let's say if he moves to Main Street, he's thinking, I won't be able to survive there. Why? Everybody's more religious than me. You hear? Meaning there's a lot of religious guys, black hats, this, that. So he'll feel like he's, they're better than him. So what? He'll stay in his neighborhood, let's say a little bit less religious neighborhood, but in his neighborhood, he's a tzaddik. Yeah? He's whatever. He's tzaddik over there. Why? Because most people in his area are not that devoted to religion. So the midah of jealousy is the underlying motivation for his choice of home or a job. But he is unaware of that. What he's mentioning is a very fundamental thing that we do, but in a very in a very subconscious way. Very subconscious way. Certain friends we have because we know who we are, we know or we think we know who they are, and therefore because we perceive ourselves as better than them, you hear? We're their friends, or we're their acquaintance. You hear? So there are two types of grass in the world: healthy green grass and weeds. When the grass is cut, the difference between them is not as apparent. When they grow, however, they're completely dissimilar. One is beautiful and one is ugly. The same is true for midot. Superficially, many people appear similar in their midot. Yeah? And there does not seem to be much of a difference among them. But at times of difficulty, when you have nisyonot, when you have certain tests, the person's true midot become apparent. And then it is obvious that there is an extraordinary difference between one person and another person. Therefore, a person should be aware of whether he truly perfected the certain midah that he has, or whether he merely has not been tested that much in that certain midah. For instance, a person might think that he does not have a bad temper, since he almost never gets angry at people, except Mr. Plony, who always annoys him with his questions. Yeah? Says this person needs to realize that except Mr. Plony is not an isolated exception. Rather, it's an indication that his patience extends up to a certain point. If he were to find himself in an even more difficult situation, the Yetzer Hara would easily overwhelm him and bring him to anger. Similarly, with regard to envy, similarly with regard to every midah a person has, to learn from his weakness, utilizing them to identify what his true level is in the particular midah. Then he must try with all his might to perfect him. Many times, as he says over here, right, we go through life, or we go through our daily activities normally, right? All of a sudden we have a certain individual in our life. Could be our children, could be the wife, could be the mother, could be the mother-in-law, could be many of these people. And you know what he says? No. Him or her, I just cannot stand. Meaning, I can't. She brings out the whatchamacallit in me. I was given an example of what you said to me this morning. I don't know if you realized what you said to me this morning, but I was going to get out of my skin. And you know what you said? I don't know, did you hear the morning cheer?
Yes.
Yeah, you said, don't forget the lesson. You know, when you said that, I calmed myself down. I was going to go crazy. I was going to blow, But thank God, you said that. And you know what? every one of us, at a certain time in the day, when we get to that peak, and believe me, every one of us gets to that peak, we have to stop ourselves and say, don't forget that lesson. Meaning, we should train ourselves, like Pavlov's dogs, to be able to say a certain phrase to remind us that we should be controlling ourselves. You know, I see it in myself, right? We get too out of control when it comes to our, to people that are close to us. Like our wives, our kids, yeah? Yesterday, wherever we were talking about discussions, this, that. And I get excited. When I get excited, I start speaking very loud. When I speak very loud, people think I'm angry. So, and I noticed, why are you laughing? So I noticed that I was talking a little bit loud, and they said to me, listen.
When was this?
Last night. It's like, we can't talk to you. We can't talk to you, they said. Why? I said, why? They said, you make us nervous. And then when I thought about it, I said, wow, it's true. Why? Because I get excited. As you know, sometimes I speak very loud, yeah? But that's the way I speak. So a person should constantly be on top of himself to be able to calm himself down. Literally, huh?
It runs in the family.
No. So, but literally, many times people sit like this, like a slouch. Why? It's not because they want to. It's just they get to this position. What you have to do is you constantly have to, have this in mind, and every couple of minutes just straighten yourself out. Why? Because it's very good for your back. You put your stomach back. Yeah. Similarly, with our time periods of where we're about to, we feel it. We really feel it. Maybe walk away if you cannot control yourself. Yeah. Explain to or give yourself the key as listen. This is where you're being tested, and therefore control. It's very difficult. I myself am still in the early stages of learning how to do this, but this is something that we must do. He says the opportunity to rectify one's midot is the greatest gift a person has. Chazal say there is no free person other than the one who's engaged in Torah study. For through tikkun midot, a person becomes free of all the things that disturb his life. Bad midot weigh down a person's life. As Chazal say, envy, lust, desire for honor, remove a person from this world. Yeah, these several midot are very, very bad. He says, the Tiferet Yisrael explains that the world, quote unquote, refers to both this world and the world to come. Meaning these midot that we mentioned, yeah, he says it takes the person out from this world. He says not this physical world, but also from the world to come, which is a very spiritual world. In contrast, a person who works on fixing his midot merits to truly enjoy life. A life that is filled with joy and devoid of envy, hatred, competition, anger, hassle, worry. Yeah? The Baal Midot is also free of fear. He does not fear people and is not afraid of embarrassment, nor is he hindered by many other things that prevent a person from growing and reaching to greatness. One of the biggest things we have in our world nowadays is how we dress, style. You should know that one of the biggest reasons a person is dressing in stylish, is because what are people going to say when they see me? No, that's what you think. That's a lie. You're lying to yourself. Yeah, you're lying to yourself. You hear? First of all, it's what are other people going to say? How could I be caught wearing a $15 Kirkland shirt? It's beneath me.
Quality of Kirkland's.
You should know. Kirkland has the best quality in certain things. Don't. We're not going to discuss individual at that. But one of the reasons, listen, $700 whatchamacallit shoes are not comfortable at all. If I wear them, I'll probably be out of commission for about 2-3 weeks. They're very thin. They're not comfortable at all. I need a thick sole. You understand what I mean? And just because they're $700 doesn't mean it's comfortable. But when he's wearing it, people see, they're like, oh, Balenciago. Yeah, but why is that? Do you know why is that?
Same thing and everything in life.
Because he has such turmoil in his inner self. Yeah, he's such that he needs this. He needs that people should look at him, and not even to say it, but he knows it. He knows when he's got that $30,000 watch, all he's got to do is like, one of these, right? And he knows everybody's like, oh, damn, what is that? Yeah? My son wears that fake, the AP. My younger son, yeah? And it's really a Casio, so he's not trying to fake anybody out. But in the shul, they actually thought it was a real watch, so they're like,
how'd you get it?
how could he wear such a thing? You hear? When they realize it's a Casio because it says Casio, they're like, oh man, But you know what? He feels good when he wears it. It's like, even though it's a $200 watch,
I know he feels good.
He tells me, he tells me. So he tells like, they thought it was real, whatever. But I'm saying, he says that we're hindered by all these things. And because of our inner emotions, we need to have these external things in order to make us feel good. The expensive cars, even down to the houses. We spend years and years working and trying, we lose it what? Some of us lose it in 2-3 months. All that effort that we put in there, gone with the wind. Yeah? So he says, people, they're afraid of embarrassment. Right? Many of us what? I'll never go out like that, even to throw garbage in, a certain type of clothes. There are people like that. Nah, I gotta go and I gotta put on the robe, the fancy robe, which I see one guy every morning. I'm telling you, I go home from shul, from Main Street, there's a guy every time. He's got those fancy slippers with the hair. He's got the robe. He's smoking. He wouldn't come out like that if it was a different time. But he looks good. He knows. He's out there.
Some people could
Phone.
do that even on their own. There's nobody else around them. Also.
No. What?
To just come out.
Yes. But you know what? It's already ingrown in them. It's become such a disease that it's already. Even though he's somewhere else. He's not going to be. You're not going to catch him in conformative clothing. Yeah.
Is there a concept new for men?
What was that?
Is there a concept that's new for men?
100%.
Like,
Yeah. You cannot just walk out shirtless or whatever. It's not a manly thing to do. I understand by us it's a manly thing to do, so I can show my my muscles or whatever. But that's not a proper way to dress. You hear?
Animalistic way.
Exactly. So this means to be the meaning of Chazal's statement when they say that Rav Yosef on Shavuot asked for a lavish feast to be prepared, explaining, if not for this day, I would not have been just like all the other Yosefs in the marketplace. This statement is puzzling, as Rav Yosef seems to be stating that because of the Torah he learned, people view him as a distinguished individual. Is the purpose of Torah study to make a person gain prestige in the eyes of others? Furthermore, if a person as smart as Rav Yosef had invested his energies into other pursuits, he would also have succeeded. And then he could potentially have become even a more famous person than he became through his Torah learning. So what did he mean with this statement? Yeah? Came Shavuot, he said, make me a lavish meal. They want to understand, what's the deal? Clearly, Rav Yosef is trying to teach us for prosperity that the Torah guides a person to become a lofty individual, one who transcends the pettiness of this world and the foibles of human nature. For him, we see how much joy is experienced by a person who has perfected his midot. That is, what he meant when he said that if not for the day of Shavuot, he would have been just like all the other Yosefs out there. For this is the purpose of the Torah, to refine people, as we cited above in Madrigat Adam, that Moshe Rabbeinu's answers to the angel was what? Is there any jealousies among you? Is there any hatred among you? Meaning when they said to Moshe, leave the Torah up there, it should not go with you. Moshe Rabbeinu asked them, says what? There's jealousy between you guys? There's no jealousy up there. So therefore we need the Torah in order to perfect ourselves. And if a person doesn't delve into Torah, studying Torah doesn't mean meeting once a week like we do and spending 30 minutes and just basically going over some light stuff that's really studying Torah is you have to have a set schedule on a daily basis and slowly get deeper and deeper into really complicated issues, Gemara, so on and so on.
we're not sure.
What?
We're not sure.
Right.
It was ready.
Yeah. So I'm saying, only then you'll understand that slowly the Torah will penetrate with you, into you, and you'll understand the other world of this world. Yeah? He says, this idea sheds light on the following statement of Gemara. It says, there are three types of people whose lives are not considered life due to their intense suffering. Those who are overly compassionate, those who are hot-tempered, and those who are highly delicate. And Rav Yosef said, all of these characteristics exist within me. Rav Yosef's statement seems puzzling. How can it be that he was hot-tempered? Rather, according to what we have explained, we can suggest that Rav Yosef originally possessed these qualities by nature, but he worked to perfect himself to the point that he overcame his natural tendencies. How appropriate then for the very same Rav Yosef to say, if not for this day, I would have been just like another Yosef. Meaning, we come into this world with special, characteristic traits that each one of us has more or less. Yeah? And we each know what the more we have and what the less we have. The less, okay, we don't have to deal with that. But the ones we know that we have more, a lot of it is anger problems. We have, each of us has anger problems. We have lust problems. Yeah, many of us have that. I don't know which guy doesn't have this lust for women, right? But many of us normal men have this thing where we love to look and talk to women. You hear? And we get caught on a daily basis, as he was saying. Bruria said to this gentleman, "Why are you talking so many words?" We start conversations. We mask them as, it's for business. Business. I'm trying to sell her something. I'm trying to get information on real estate. I'm doing kiruv, right? We do a lot of those things. But each one of us has to understand that we came to this world in order to perfect our midot. Because at the end of the day, when we go after 120, guess what? The neshama that we came with and the neshama that we perfected or we didn't perfect is the neshama that's going to actually stay with us. And I was explaining to our friend over here who called me earlier today, and they were discussing whether a woman can go to Bahal Mar without her husband. Yeah? So I said to her, she said, what's the big deal? I mean, I'm a woman. Okay, he's not allowed to go because he has to watch his eyes. But what about me? I can go, no problem. So I said to her, huh?
brings it out. The woman's allowed to go.
And what did he say? She's not. You know why? So I said to her like this. I said, we live in a physical world, right? This is a physical cup. I just had physical water. And I became physically saturated with the water that I drank, correct? But this world is a much bigger world when it comes to spirituality. You should know that our mind is probably much bigger and much more effective in what happens in the world than our mouth and physicalness. I don't know about you guys, but on a daily basis, when I do my talking with Hashem through just mental thinking, I'm telling you, I get answered like in days. Like there's a certain thing I really want to sell. There's a certain thing I want to move in days. To the fact that just recently, a couple days ago, I was like, Hashem, I want to sell the 500 whatever gram chain I had. I have outside. Today, a guy comes in, I'm telling you, 99% the deal was done. All I had to do was get my Asima thing to work, and it was done. But what happened? I got kicked out of Asima. You hear? He had $3,000. No, I was processing them. Yeah. He had $3,000. The $3,000 was out. We made a deal. The chain was 30,000. He had a chain that was 15,000, whatever, and he was going to give me 5,000, whatever. Didn't work out. But for me, I didn't care that it didn't work out. What I cared for is the fact that I was just thinking about this chain a day or two ago, legit, in the morning, and I was like, Hashem, I need to move the chain. I don't want to see it anymore. And you know what he did? He brought me a live customer. The customer was there. We tried 5 times. Finally, I got on the phone with the SEMA, and then he just got too busy. He said, you know what, I'm going to come back tomorrow. And maybe it's going to work out tomorrow when he's going to bring me the cash. But what I'm trying to say, these kind of things, why is it that my thoughts affected that chain? And many of our thoughts affect certain things. Why? Because the spiritual life that we're living is much more bigger than our physical life. So therefore I said to this lady, I said, imagine, the guy sees you, right, on the beach or whatever it is. And the guy has mamash, he has desire for you. I said, you know what he did? He raped you spiritually. Yeah, you're laughing. I said, because she doesn't want to be with him. Why? He's fat, he's ugly, he's old, whatever. He smells, I don't know what it is. But when this guy is desiring her, some of the desires that a person has, in his mind, he's praying so many different scenarios with this woman. By the way, it's not only with this particular woman, it's any woman. It's any woman that goes out there and is not properly dressed and entices a man. She gets raped sometimes by not one person, but many people.
What if she wants?
And that's why when Chachamim say, listen, that's niyut. It's for you. It's for you. You understand? Why? Because when she's going to go spiritually after 120 years and leave her body over here, she's going to see her soul up there messed up. And you're like, why? Do you know why? Because you quote unquote prostituted yourself out there not knowingly. You understand? And this is a major, major thing that our ladies are not understanding. Why can't I dress like this? Oh, you can. But guess what? On a spiritual level, you're going to damage yourself in such a great degree that you don't even know it. When are you going to know it? After 120, when it's too late. That's why to be tzniut is extremely important. Not for anybody else, for yourself. Imagine if you tell her, God forbid, that she will physically get raped. She wouldn't want it. She wouldn't want it. What? Whatever it is, she'll go and learn her tzniut. Believe me, if she takes these words literal, she'll never come out anymore like they do nowadays. They'll come out like some of the Ashkenazim, black, straight. Why? Peace and quiet. After 120, major problem. After 120, she's going to be in peace. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Eternity, and you messed up your life? Why? Because you didn't take care of your spirituality. That's why spirituality is so important. This physical life, 80 years, 90 years, 120 years, we're out. We're out. We're taking our coat, take off your jacket. Zip. That's exactly how the body. 1 minute is up, the next minute, down, finished. But your neshama is eternity. It lives for eternity. And therefore, when we hear doing tefillin, lulav, kiddush, Shabbat, we're building our spiritual life. We're creating our spiritual existence to be on the highest level. You understand? And that's how we're going to exist. But if we don't do that, just like this quote-unquote raped woman is going to go up there not knowingly, that's exactly how we're going to go. Our neshama is going to be majorly in a disastrous state, and unfortunately, that's how it's going to stay forever. Why? Because only in this world we can build our neshama. And if we lose the chance to build it, guess what? We lost it. Baruch Adonai L'Olam. Amen. Amen.